back. It's 22 minutes after 2 o'clock. This, of course, is the second hour of the Thursday edition of the Midday View here on eNCA DSTV channel 403. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's bring you the story about the ANC in Gauteng briefing the media earlier today on developments related to the City of Johannesburg's mayor. The ANC's mayoral candidate, Environment and Infrastructure Services MMC Mpho Moerane, says electricity is the main issue the city has to tackle. The party has chosen Moerane for the position after Mayor Joburg Matongo died in a recent car accident. Reporter Lindokuhle Xulu is joining us now with the latest. He's coming to us live from the Joburg City Hall. Good afternoon, Lindo. Thank you very much for your time. I see the ANC in Gauteng has just held a briefing. What was said there about the party's Joburg mayoral candidate? I mean, the party has lost two mayors in such a short space of time. Jeff Makubo due to COVID-19 complications, and just last weekend, the other weekend, Joburg Matongo in a car accident after election campaigning in Soweto.
Well, we are told, Braden, that it's been exactly 4 months, the period in which they lost these two mayors. But what the province was basically saying through its leadership, the chairperson being Premier David Makhura, was telling us that officially they have now found a replacement for the late Mayor Joburg Matongo. And they're saying that they had to move with haste in terms of electing this particular leader, because there are still things that the City of Johannesburg believes they need to achieve with a mayoral committee that is going to be formed after the election of the mayor. So today there was that official announcement to say that while we have been speaking about the endorsement from the regional office, the endorsement from the province, finally the NEC, the National Executive Committee, has approved the name of Mpho Moerane, and they're saying that he's tried and tested, because during the election or the selection process where they were interviewed and all of that, we understand that Mpho Moerane was part of the three candidates, one being Joburg Matongo, who was actually selected at the time to be the mayor of the City of Johannesburg. That Mpho Moerane came second in terms of those candidates, and today they're saying that because he's been tried and tested in terms of some of their processes in the ANC, including the new one of actually having the NEC interview some of the candidates, they're saying that they will now be ready to move to the next phase of this. They have elected Mpho Moerane as a candidate. The next phase will be tomorrow, when there'll be a council sitting to elect the new mayor. But Premier David Makhura, who in his capacity as the chairperson of the ANC in the province of Gauteng, told us that he has been tried and tested. He came second, and it is time now for him to take over. But let's take a listen to exactly what the Premier said.
How was this arrived at? The name of Mpho Moerane was amongst the three names when the ANC was filling the vacancy for mayor. Three names of candidates were interviewed by the national office bearers, the national officials of the ANC. When Joburg Matongo was appointed a candidate and subsequently the mayor of the City of Johannesburg. So Mpho Moerane was the second amongst those who were interviewed. There were three. He was the second, and even at that time, the feedback we got from the national officials was that amongst the three were very competent people, and any one of them could be appointed mayor. But at that time, the preference was that Joburg Matongo will take us far. And indeed, in the last few days of being the mayor of Johannesburg, we saw the work done by Joburg Matongo. He was loved by the people of our city. So getting to this point, last night the national officials met with the provincial officials, at which a report was tabled, and that report was of a meeting of the Regional Executive Committee and the Provincial Executive Committee.
Okay, it looks like then it's a done deal for the ANC in terms of its candidate, preferred candidate to be a mayor, if the ANC will regain control of the Joburg Metro, which they lost in the local government elections in 2016. Now, It's unbelievable, but it's true. There's only a month to go, 30 days before 1st of November elections. I wonder what the ANC says it's planning to achieve. What are they going to do in the next 30 days ahead of the local government elections on the 1st of November?
It's the exact question we put to them, Praten, to say that there's 30 days left, less than a month. What is it exactly that you are trying to achieve by fast-tracking this process of actually having a candidate that will tomorrow, which is Friday, have a council meeting where he is expected to be elected as the new mayor? But what they have told us, in fact, Mpho Moerane himself, was that he's not starting afresh. He's simply taking over from what the previous leaders, that is Geoff Makhubo as well as Jolly D. Matongo, who are now late. He says that he's taking over from some of the processes they've started. And one of the huge things that they're saying they'll be achieving in the next 2 weeks is to actually sign a memorandum of understanding between Eskom and the City of Johannesburg. Now, this memorandum of understanding, we understand that it is set to actually have Eskom hand over the electricity supply in the City of Johannesburg in areas such as Soweto to City Power to be able to supply and come up with innovative ways of trying to keep the power up with all of the debts and all of that. So they're trying to figure that out within the next 2 weeks. And there's many things that they've mentioned that they are trying to solve. But they're saying that because this is a continuous work that has come from the previous mayors, they'll be able to achieve this. And they're expecting that some of those things, including that signing of that memorandum of understanding, will then be able to be achieved before we go to November 1 elections. But let's take a listen to some of those things that they did say they are trying to achieve within this 30 days.
First priority is to deal with the electricity problems in Soweto, Orange Farm, Diepsloot, Ivory Park, and parts of Sandton. We started having a discussion between us as the city and national government, which was led by Minister Pravin and Eskom CEO on the 18th of July 2020. We were escalating problems that are experienced in Soweto, where Eskom was disconnecting on many substations, which would include people who are also paying. They had a system that if they collect less than 60%, they would switch off the block. And you'd understand that not everybody is not paying. So it would affect people who are paying as well. So the purpose of that meeting was to address that issue. But we also brought in the issue of takeover, which Eskom then presented to the board. And the board accepted and approved that they must transfer all these areas within the City of Johannesburg boundaries to City through City Power. The two issues raised, firstly, was the network and the infrastructure, which would cost us about 4 billion, and the debt at that time was sitting at 12 billion, where Eskom wrote off 5 billion last year, and now it's sitting at 7.5 billion. So those are the two major issues that we are currently discussing. We will be concluding, Premier, the memorandum of understanding next week or in the next 2 weeks to ensure that the transfer is guided by the principle of ensuring that we pay for what is there.